Recording on my computer. All right, so today is Yoga Flow. My name's Ashley. I'm coming at you from my home. It is a work in progress being here, so you'll see some door frames busted. Anyway, it's a great little house, just needs a lot of work. So our practice today is here, right here. I'm humble. It's a Monday. It's I don't know what kind of day it is for you, whatever day it is for you. The I am humble is I make a difference more than I declare my importance. So keeping that in mind, we're going to go throughout our practice and then practice a little bit of humbleness, which means some humble forward folds. Humble oftentimes in yoga means hands behind the back and then bowing forward. So we'll get some heart expansion and openness, a little bit of vulnerability, while at the same time getting a nice, all right, well, no need to go extravagant with your poses. Working this practice in a very basic way or just a way that feels nice can be very effective. So a little bit every day. So make sure that you have your yoga mat. And that's about it. If you want to grab a couple blocks, it's an option. My blocks are currently underneath my computer so that it can be lifted up a little bit higher. So I'm not going to be using any blocks. If you want a block or if hands behind your back is tight, then you may want a strap or a scarf or something where you can have a little bit of space to grab onto something. So if you're going to practice along today, let's start our practice in child's pose. So sit back on the heels, knees forward, hands forward, and forehead down towards the floor. Extending through those arms, let your forehead drop down towards the ground. As we're here, we get to check in with our breath and steady ourselves into this present moment. And we do that with the breath. So deep inhale and exhale, in and out through the nose. Notice the air circulating from the back of the body as you inhale down to the lower lungs, out through the front of the chest and out through the nose as you exhale. Send that breath all the way down to the very bottom of your torso, bottom of the lungs, right into your belly. And as we move throughout this practice, you use your breath as your guide to notice when it gets choppy, you back off. And if you're feeling good, your breath will be steady and fluid. So take about 3 more breaths with the forehead down towards the floor. Reaching a little longer so you feel the backs of the arms activate. And then slowly shifting forward, take an inhale. Walk the hands back so they're underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. This little 4-point base, sometimes called tabletop. I've also seen it in pose descriptions called box. But whatever you call it, your wrists are under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Arch your back to change this pose into more heart opening, a little lower back stretching cow pose. Exhale as you round the back, pulling the belly in into cat pose. Also a stretch for the back in a different way, engagement of the core. So we're going to do this back and forth a few times. It's our spinal warm-up. So keep going. Got to adjust my hair. Back and forth, feeling that spine, the core, midsection, that area of the body that's the core, this area, the midsection, is the base of all your movements. So make sure that it's mobile, flexible, strong. And then just coming back into a neutral position. We'll still remain pretty strong here, so gripping into the fingertips. Hug the ribs together, or knit the ribs together, whatever cue works for you. Extend the left leg straight back and find a balance position. As we're here, imagine Well, don't imagine anything, but press down through both hands so you've got equal weight in both hands. Lengthen a little more through the heel. You'll find more stability as you lengthen and press the limbs outward or downward or extending through the crown of the head. And then take that right arm and reach forward. Our first little play with a lot of length through the fingertips, through the back heel. Take one deep breath as you reach wall to wall. Exhale, pull the elbow to the knee together. Elbow and knee together. Inhale, extend, reach. Pull it in. Balance. A little bit of shakiness is fine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, extend. And place the hand and the knee down. Let's take the other side. So we take that right leg straight back and pause there. It can be tempting to lean onto that right hand, but try to press down also through the left side. Left hand, equal weight. What that means is pulling those abs up and in a bit more. And extend through that heel. And after giving it a few breaths to find that stable, good base on 3 points, let's take that left hand and lift it. Reach long. Lately, I've been liking stronger movements, but slower. So just stay and hold a while and breathe and really feel. See if we can get longer. Press a little firmer. And then we start to bring the elbow to knee for breath-based movement. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull in. And we just do 3. Inhale, extend. And one more time, pull in. Inhale, extend. Hold it. And place the hand and the knee down. Awesome. Walk the hands forward about a hand distance so they're in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and send the hips back, drawing the chest to thighs. Pedal the feet a couple times just to notice the lower body, the hamstrings, the calves, and strengthen the upper body. Shake out the head. Walk your feet forward. We'll come back to down dog a few times in our practice, so that was just our first check-in point. Bend the knees and hang out here, ragdoll pose. Grab the elbows, sway from side to side. Just feel this nice relaxing length in the upper body. Knees bent soft so your belly touches your thighs. And release the hands down to the floor. Bend the knees and roll yourself up. If it's better on the back, you can walk the hands up the legs. Standing position. Let's take those feet a little bit wider. We're going to become a vibrant star. So turn the toes out slightly. Arms open wide, like expand, open. Reach up, inhale. As you exhale, bend the knees, hands cross the body. As you exhale, lower down. So you make these big circles in the arms, bending those knees, and then rising. We do 3 each direction. So this is our last one here. Exhale down. Inhale, reach up. Hold it. Exhale, open the arms, taking them down on that squat. Inhale, big arm circle, reach up. 2 more. And last one. Then taking those hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Press the palms together, look up, lift up. You can turn the toes to face the corners or to be parallel to one another. Squeeze those shoulders, we'll fold it forward. First humble folds of the day. Hands together. If this is too much or a little bit tight on the shoulders, grab the wrists instead. Work into some space into the shoulders by taking the hands side to side. Then release those hands back down. Heel toe the feet a little closer together. And we'll roll up for the second time and head to our sun salutations. So we're taking it up to the top, step to the top of the mat, or jump there, walk there, sprint there. Feet together or slightly apart. Top of your mat, and here's where we begin a little bit more heat building. So take that inhale, reach up, connect the hands at the top, and then draw them down to your heart and pause. Another chance to take a couple breaths, to be here, to reconnect with our intention or affirmation. And you can always choose your own intention for your practice, but you're always welcome to borrow what I give you as well. Today, I bring a humbleness to my practice and to my life. As we inhale this next time, reach up. We'll do our sun salutation A. Open the arms, diving down, lead with the heart. Be careful for any walls next to you. Lengthen through the back, hands on the shins. Lengthen to look forward. Draw the shoulders back, half lift. Exhale, plant those hands down and walk the feet back to plank pose. Our first plank pose of the day. So we get to pause here. Hold it, situate. Notice a long line from crown of the head to heels. And if ever we're still looking to build some strength, take the knees down. If in fact your breath is lost in that plank pose, knees will still give you a great foundation. Turn the elbows to face the back of the room, look forward. Shift forward a little in the heart. Gazing forward, exhale as you bend the elbows up to 90 degrees. Then press the heart forward from the knees or toes, up dog. Engaging that core and sliding the shoulders back. Back to downward facing dog, lift the hips, tuck the toes. This is our slow sun salutation. We'll do it 2 more times, a little bit faster. Find some stillness here. Relaxing, yet pressing. Find that nice duality, the length and the engagement, the softness and the strength. Yoga is looking to help us balance our mind, our thoughts, our body. And we walk it forward to the top of the mat, continuing our movement practice. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up, open those arms, lift up, reach up. And then take the hands behind the back again. Interlace the fingers. Press down, look up, inhale, squeezing the shoulders. Exhale, forward fold. We won't stay here long. Release the hands, half lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back to plank pose. Shift forward on the toes or the knees. Exhale, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart up. Upward dog. Exhale, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Just one breath. Bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. We'll do that one more time. Reach up, inhale. Hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, opposite thumb on top. Press down, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Release the hands, inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant it down, step back. One jump, one step, however it works. Shift forward, inhale, pause in plank. Exhale, lower down, descend. Upward dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Got it. We're going to move on from here. So usually the feet are hip distance apart. Let's take them together. Big toes touch to create a good foundation, triangle foundation when we lift our right leg. So go ahead and lift that right leg up behind you, heel towards the sky. Bend the knee. Keep the heel pressing towards the sky, knee towards the ground. Lift the left heel, draw the right knee to nose, and gently step between the hands. Back heel spins down to the ground, and we'll head to our warrior one stance. Rising up, reach up, lift up. Soften the shoulders. So the hips are turned to the front of the mat. We're going to take our hands, elbows bend to 90 degrees. We wrap the right arm above the left arm. So although we do a lot of hands behind the back, we're going to do a little back stretch, a little opposite right now for eagle arms. So you can grab the shoulders or double wrap in the hands. Press the elbows forward and lift them up. Add a little back bend here. As you look up, try to get the elbows to touch the sky, touch the ceiling. Bending into that right knee a little bit more. We'll do a back and forth flow here. As you inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, elbow to knees or right shoulder to knee. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise, reach the hands up, straighten that leg, lift up higher, reaching with the hands and the elbows. Exhale, bend the knee, tap the right shoulder towards the knee. Inhale, reach up two more times, straight leg, lengthen. Exhale, come down, bend that right knee. One more time, reach up. Straight leg, exhale, bend. This time as we come up, we'll unravel the hands, reach up, hands behind the back, interlace the hands, press down. Now in this position, lift that back heel off the ground, lean forward, bend the back knee, hop forward a few times, lift off. Warrior 3. My Warrior 3 does not look very tilted or very parallel to the floor. Yours doesn't have to be either. Keep the wrists on the hips. Make sure that left hip is pointed down. That's why I'm not down any farther. My hip would start to open. Keep breathing. Hold this one. It's a good one to hold. Gaze right in front of the nose at the floor. Good. And gently step back. Got a wall right here, so it helps. Reach up. Hands come down to the floor. Plant the hands. Step that right foot to a single leg plank pose. Single leg. On the left knee or off the left knee, shift forward. Lower down, chaturanga. Up dog. Floating on the left toes. Down dog. Right leg is up high. Bend that knee. Open up in the hip. Knee up high. Rotate through the right ankle. Part of this practice too is knowing that it's okay not to do everything, to do all the poses as laid out. That's part of being humble too, is knowing that, yeah, you could do the crazier version of a pose, but is that in your best interest or in your intention for the day? Is it needed right now? It's okay to skip it. Okay, take that right foot back down to the ground. Downward facing dog. You get to go to the other side now. Big toes come to touch. Oh, in between actually, take your feet back to hip distance. Shift forward to plank pose. Just pause. Shift forward to plank pose. You get a reset with a slow vinyasa. Shift forward a little more. Bend the elbow slowly. Full exhale. Upward dog, inhale. Going to teach you to slow it down. Exhale, lift through that core. Send the hips back. Now bring the feet together. Left leg rises. Heel towards the sky. Bend the knees, so the knees towards the ground. Lift the right heel high. Give yourself space. Knee comes forward, left knee forward to the nose. Flex the left foot. Gentle step between the hands. Other side, back heel spins down. Warrior 1 style. Walk the hands up or sweep them up. We're getting bent here, and you can always widen that stance a little or step it in. Elbows bend to 90 degrees. This time it's a left above right, so you can grab the shoulders or that eagle grip on the arms. Press the elbows forward and lift them up. Then add that little tilt of a back bend. Head back to neutral, just straight up and down. As you exhale this next time, left shoulder towards left knee, bent knee. Maybe get the elbows to try to touch the ground. Relax the neck. Inhale, lift up, straighten that leg as you reach the hands high. Exhale, rebend, bow down. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. This time as you reach up, release the hands. Keep the knee bent. Lift. Hands behind the back. Again, opposite thumb on top. The awkward side. Press down, lift the back heel. Lean forward. Bend the back knee. We hop forward until we hit that warrior 3. Press through that right heel, much like we did on the hands and knees. Ground down through the left foot. And keep your gaze steady. And breath, of course. Check in with that breath. Kickstand on the toe always works too. Our goal here is to maintain the breath, not the pose. And if you look like this here, that's great too, if you want to be in more of a deep position. And step back very gently, releasing those hands, reach up. Hands come down to the floor. Step the left foot straight back to that single leg plank pose. Single leg. You can point the toes, keep the right toes tucked under. Shift forward, knees or no knee. Lower into chaturanga. Upward dog, inhale. Keep the right toes tucked. Downward facing dog, exhale. Left leg lifts. This time it's an external rotation, so bend the left knee and open up in that hip. Keep equal weight in both hands. One side is definitely favored, much like our hands and knee position at the beginning. Rotate through that left ankle a couple times. And place that left foot back down on the floor. Downward dog. Shift forward, take it to plank pose. Instead of going to chaturanga, we do a slow lower to the ground. All the way down. Flatten the feet or point the toes. Hands next to your shoulders, squeeze the elbows. Lift the heart as you gaze forward. Press the toes into the floor so the knees lift and the quads engage. It's a version of just like a little baby cobra pose. So hands are light. And lower back down. Take your chin to the mat or a cheek to the mat. Legs together a little bit more. Squeeze them in. Reach your hands back, interlace the fingers. It's like a shark pose. Press the palms together, lift the chest. Now lift the legs. Can you lift your hands a little higher off of the back of the body? Release the hands and just open them, reaching back. This one is one where I don't expect us all to do it. It's one of those humble yourself and stay in the position that works for you. Can you, at the same time you're lifted, bend the knees and reach back and find the ankles? If not, stay here towards the ankles, reaching towards the feet and still lifting. You're still getting just as much of that activation in the back of the body and heart opening. If you've got the ankles now, you can press into them to lift a little higher. Keep your neck in a neutral line with the spine. Good, and release it from wherever you are. Let it go, hands under the shoulders. Lift up to hands and knees, sit back to child's pose, where we began our practice. Keep a little bit more round in the back this time, noticing how the back feels. We'll get a bit more neutralized with our next sequence. So from our child's pose, let's come to downward facing dog again. Lifting that right leg, take it up. Bend the knee, same thing we did before, step between the hands. Keep the back heel lifted this time to a crescent lunge. So we haven't done any open hip variations yet. Today we may just focus more so on back bends and twists. I didn't tell you that before, but that's what we're doing. Hands to your heart. So you're gonna get a little twisty over to the right side. Get to hook that left elbow on the right leg. So take a deep breath in to prepare. Exhale, left elbow goes to right knee or right thigh. So you press into that right hand to create this little wringing out motion of the body. Look up past the right shoulder. The back knee can definitely be down if you're looking to get more into the twist and less about the leg strength. And from wherever you are, open up those arms. You might lift up a little bit, that's fine. We're taking some time to create some twist in that low back because we did a few back bends, a few heart openers. So let's then lift the knee up and rise up in the upper body. So you're looking back past the right thumb, past the back of the body, bending into that right knee. Lift the left hand, reach high. Right hand falls down towards either the right hip or back of the left leg. A little twisted reversed lunge. And one more balanced pose for us in this practice, the revolved half moon. So we lift back up, hands parallel, reach way forward, hand comes down to the floor in front of the right toes and lift the back leg up. Now using a block is helpful, or I've got these fancy pants dumbbells for my yoga sculpt classes. So they're sitting right here, I could use that as a way to balance. Look down for better balance. To challenge your balance, look up towards that right hand. Can you get more twist as you press the shoulders down and away from the ears? All right, bring that right hand down. So now we're in more of like a standing splits. Step the left foot way back, hands walk back in line with the right foot. Back knee down. Let's take this right foot and heel toe it across the mat, lay it down, and extend the back leg. Pigeon pose. So we've done a lot of heat building on the hips. So this doesn't feel the most wonderful, but it's gonna be really good for you, I promise. Let's turn over that leg. You can always hug that heel in a little bit more. Hips are squared up to the front. Then walk the hands down. Maybe to forearms, forehead to the floor. Keep lengthening through that back leg. Right, how's that pigeon pose feeling? Not so great over here, but I know that's one of my weak points. And so I don't try to get down farther than I need to, just enough to feel sensation. So as we come up, I'm gonna take those hands under the shoulders again, tuck the back toes, going to a place we've already been once before. Tuck the back toes and lift that right leg up and back. Bend the knee and open up in the hip. So here's the change though. We can stay with this open hip variation, move the leg around a couple of times again. Or shift forward into plank pose, keeping that knee externally rotated, the hip rotated. So more of a plank, shoulders over wrists. Take that right foot way behind you to the floor. Left leg stays straight. Right arm then reaches up. So like a kickstand side plank, or as you arch the body and reach forward with that right hand, it becomes more of what's known as wild thing or flip dog, or there's some other poses. Someone recently named this pose rock star, which I had not heard before either. Names don't matter, just do the thing and breathe the breaths. Okay, look down, bending into that left knee a little bit to help you lift up and around. Place that right foot back down to the floor. Good. Now we're in the set position again. Other side, as we do. Lift the left leg. Bend the knee. Lift the right heel and step between the hands into your low lunge. Low lunge becomes crescent lunge as you lift up. Back heel is up. Hips, shoulders over hips, straight down. Connecting in those hands, let's take the hands to your hearts. Hands to heart. Bend a little deeper. Preparing for our twist on this side. Deep breath in. Let's take that right elbow across. Twist. So what happens here is we get a little dumpy, or the collapsing into that right shoulder. So as you press into that top hand, we can lift the torso and feel more twist through that belly area. Continue to twist by gazing up past left shoulder. And can we open the arms from there in whatever position you're in? You might come up a little bit, rest a hand on the knee or elbow to knee, or hand might even be on the floor. Just opening up to find a different pose, a different sensation in that twist. Then from that open position, rise up, get strong in the legs. Got wide arms, jazz hands, get funky with it. Thumbs up for yoga. Look back past the left thumb. You're going to tilt it, taking that right hand up, left hand to the back leg or to the hip. So we reach up, finding a side bend at the same time that we're twisting. And then we compound that, or add that with a lunge, and it just gets extra fun. All right, lift back up, arms open wide, reach forward, right hand down. Last big pose, this is more of like our peak pose. Right leg lifts up. Doesn't have to be higher than parallel to the ground. Maybe it's a kickstand. Maybe we stay in a lunge, hand in front of the toes. Oh, it burns on that left leg. I typically walk around and teach this, so I don't feel all the feels that you're getting, but I love it. I'm definitely getting stronger too. I'm right there with you. Flex foot or pointed foot, just make sure that your leg's engaged. And take both hands down. Adjust so the props are out of the way. Step back, knee down, heel to the left foot across the mat. Now that we're extra heated in that left side, we get to stretch it out. So extend through the back leg. Make sure the left knee is in line with the left shoulder as you roll that right hip down. Take a nice long breath, and then we exhale it out as we walk forward onto the forearms or your forehead to the floor. If you want to stack your fists and make a little prop, or even use a block for that point right between the eyebrows, a little pressure point to help alleviate this hip tightness, might be a good idea. All right, let's walk our way out of it. So hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toes under. I'll move over a little bit for this next pose. Got left leg lifted. I feel so much of that. All right, left leg lifted, bent knee, open hip. You might shift forward to back to more of a plank pose. Right heel comes down, right hand bears most of the way as the left foot drops down behind you. Reach up with that left hand or extend it. Back bend of sorts. Also a little bit of an arm balance as you're pressing into that right hand. Palm faces down. And then we reach back up, look down to where that hand typically goes, lift the back leg up and around. Downward facing dog. And we'll do one more vinyasa flow, little vinyasa poses to equal and neutralize the body. Shift forward to plank pose. Lower down. Up dog or cobra pose. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. And take the knees down again. Sit back in child's pose for a moment. Okay, let's roll up onto your heels. We can just swing the legs around for seated poses. Today's class, I'm pretty much going through my exact step-by-step sequencing format that I have created. So you can see that if you're familiar with that. All right, so legs out in front of you. Before we do legs out in front, let's take the feet together, knees open wide. Bound ankle. So you can open up the feet. We've got two of these today. First one, flat back, straight back. Elbows in, press the elbows towards the thighs, or even hands towards the back, at the base of the back at the floor to keep that spine long. If you find your knees really hiked up, you can sit on something, it can help. So bring it forward, finding that nice long spine. Try to imagine your belly coming forward. If you can arch your back here, I'd be very impressed. Don't try, but sort of that sensation. Okay, lifting out of this, just a breath, inhale. Now round the back purposefully, stretching the back. So the purpose of this pose is to stretch the back. So forehead or nose towards the toes. Continue pressing the elbows to the thighs. And just find more length through the back of the body. Good, and lift up. Take the knees together. And take the feet to the top of the mat with the feet about hip distance apart. And do an interesting little transition into a seated twist. So hands behind you, fingers point towards the heels. Press into the heels, lift up, lift the hips. So reverse tabletop. Little bend in the elbows, keeps them safe. We take that right leg and press it straight up. Lift. Ankle goes to the knee in a figure 4. One more time, lift that hip. And then sit down as you exhale. And flexing that right foot. So what happens from here, since we already did pigeon pose, we're not going to get too in depth in this seated figure 4. We'll take that right foot, the one that's flexing on top, and pivot so it touches the floor. So your right side might pick up, that's all right. You might adjust a little bit. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up. I'm probably not mirroring you on the video, so you gotta listen in. Left elbow presses into the knee. Look back towards the right shoulder. And then back to the center. And we got a little tricky transition here. First, look over that left shoulder just for a mini counter stretch. Back to the center. We lift back up to that figure 4 seated. Hands down, underneath the shoulders, press into the left foot and lift for that tabletop figure 4. Then right leg lifts up. As you place the heel down, take the hips back and try to float the hips. Keep them lifted. Up, a little higher. And then we switch. Bring it back through tabletop. Lift the left leg. Yes, no, maybe next time. Ankle to the knee. Figure 4, tabletop. Lower back down. Hips down. So I'm going to turn this way. So we don't stay here long. We take that left foot down. We pivot down. Right knee, left foot comes down. Sit up tall. It might be awkward, crooked on the mat. That's all right. Left hand stays at the base of the back on the floor. Right arm reaches up. Twist. Hook the knee or hug the knee and look back over left shoulder. Back to the center. Look over the right shoulder for a tiny counter stretch to balance out. Back to center. Lift the legs back to that figure 4. We'll try that one more time, okay? So are you with me? Yeah, we got this. So let's press into that right foot. Lift up. Lift the hips. Left leg lifts. Foot to the floor. Send the hips back. Keep them floating. Try it. Lift all the legs. L-sit. Okay, down. That's all. We'll work on L-sits a different day. They're some of my favorite core exercises. But for today, legs out and extended in front of you. Let's roll the inner thighs in. Sit nice and tall. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward, reaching towards the toes. Find that long, straight spine for this pose anyway. And then take your hands down next to your legs. Hopefully your toes are at the top of the mat because we're going to round the back, tuck the chin, and roll ourselves down. So engaging that core, we're going to slide the hands back, down our body, keep tucking the chin. You can end up pointing the toes, come down to the floor. When you get there, reach your hands above your head. Hug the knees in towards your chest and rock side to side. Make circles in that lower back. Place the feet down. We've got one more bridge pose or wheel pose. Actually, I'll give you 2 so that you have the option to do a bigger back bend if you would like. So first, bridge pose. Let's place the feet down, hip distance, palms down as well, pressing into the floor. Lift the hips, low back. Take your time to get up there, slowly articulating in that spine. Draw the shoulders together, squeeze them in. And make sure there's always space between your neck and the floor, keeping your cervical spine safe. And notice the difference if you squeeze your butt or you relax it. Neither is right or wrong. It's just different. Different teachers will say different things, different traditions. Good, and lower back down. Let's take those feet a little wider and do that windshield wiper of the legs. Knees go side to side. Okay, back to the center. We'll do one more bridge pose. So you can choose bridge pose here where we were. You can place a block underneath your low back, or if you'd like to take it a little bit deeper or higher for more of that opening sort of, just a usually more intense version, Urdhva Dhanurasana or wheel pose. Hands underneath the shoulders. You can bring your heels a little closer to your backside, elbows point to the sky, and we press into the hands and the feet. Careful not to turn the feet out to the side. So whether you're in bridge pose or wheel pose, toes point forward, the heart presses back. And the head is neutral. And we can come down out of it. Just rest. Take a moment. From those poses, we'll take legs straight up. Straight up. If shoulder stand is available to you or feels like it could be today, we can try that. Elbows pressed into the floor, hips lift, toes might come back at first, and then they rise above the hips. Elbows still squeeze together. So however your legs are up is fine. If you want to place a block or your hands underneath your low back for a little bit more inversion while the legs are straight up, that's a great variation. And whether you're in shoulder stand or just legs simply up, we can take it to plow pose with the feet coming behind you. As the toes touch the floor, hands interlaced behind the back. Pinkies to the ground. Legs straight. If toes are not touching the floor, keep the hands on the lower back for support. And then keep looking up towards the knees or the toes. Bend your knees around the ears. If you're not in plow pose, just bend the knees and hug them in. If you've got interlaced hands, release those as you roll down slowly. Use your hands to help you. Continue the journey down with your left leg. Hug the right knee into the chest. And we take that right leg across for a twist. Pick up that left hip and tuck it under to get that right knee across into a spinal twist. And that right knee comes back up to the top. Reset it by pulling that knee in to the shoulder. And then switch. Extend the right leg. Left knee hugs in. Pull it close. Press into the heel. Lift up onto that right hip. Tuck that under. And take that right knee, or left knee across to the right side. You're going to look away from the legs and keep both shoulders anchored. And bring it back to the center. Reset onto both, or the tailbone, the hips, everything in neutral as you lift the knee towards the chest. And then both knees in. And rock it side to side again. Maybe grab the feet for happy baby pose. This is the finishing touches of our practice before we head to Shavasana. And I do hope you stay for Shavasana. It's going to be very beneficial to rest and transition into our everyday life after a good little yoga practice. So take your time to get there. When you are ready, we'll just spend a few minutes. Legs extended if it's comfortable. Hands by your side. Palms can be up, they can be down. Close eyes typically, and allow your body to relax. No need to be anywhere or get anywhere or think anything. Allow those thoughts to drift in and then out. Feel your belly rise and fall. Notice a calmness in the breath with no effort, no depth. It just goes naturally. We'll be here for a few minutes. Just continue to sink into that mat and enjoy this quiet time. All right, let's start to take a deeper breath in. And wiggle your fingers and toes. And then slowly reaching your hands overhead. Giving yourself that bigger stretch out. Bend the knees and roll to your side. Pausing there. From there, gently pressing back up to a seated pose, and we'll conclude and finish together as we do in our yogi ways. Not forgetting our affirmation of the day. I am humble. I make a difference more than I declare my importance. It's a great reminder of, I have 60 of these, by the way, so they're fun to pull out. All right, so let's just sit tall, taller than we've sat today, probably after a nice lengthening practice. Take those hands and reach up, connecting the hands, sealing it all in, and draw the hands down to your hearts. And gratitude and appreciation. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.